Hello there, people of the internet. My name is SQDGO and this is Dialogues with Jagero. I am with Gladys. Gladys, how do you pronounce your second name?
Gladys Ngetich.
Ngetich?
Yes.
What does Ngetich mean?
Do
you know?
Yes, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So Ngetich is coming from Kip Ngetich.
Yeah.
And it's Kip Ngetich is a boy name in Kalenjin, meaning someone was born when the cows, of course, it's Kalenjin, when the cows were waking up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically a dawn. Or thereabout.
Yes, thereabout, yes.
Okay. How are you doing?
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So my dad's name is Ngetich, coming from that Kip Ngetich.
Yeah.
And then so Ngetich is my dad's name.
Ah.
Yes, but my name is Chepkirui.
Kipkirui.
Chepkirui.
Chepkirui.
Yes.
And then there is also Kipkirui.
Yes, Kip is for a boy, Chep for a girl. In Kipsigis at least, because I think in some sub-tribes of Kale, they have female names in Kip, but at least for Kipsigis, when you say Kipkirui, it's a boy. Chep, a girl.
That is in Kipsigis.
In Kipsigis. And you know Kipsigis is a sub-tribe of Kalenjin.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many are they, by the way? There are many.
I
Are
don't
they
know.
many? Are they more than 10?
Maybe. I'm not sure. But like the common ones.
Which are the common ones? The Kipsigis?
Kipsigis, Nandi, Tugen, Keyo, Marakwet, Pokot. So I made a mistake naming because now some Kalenjins will feel bad because I've left out some. But anyway, I think 9, 10? I'm not sure. They're about
9, 10. From which part do you come? Your Kipsigis from which part? Of Kenya?
Kipsigis from originally my parents are from Kericho. Yes, but we currently live in a place called Olunguruoni.
Yeah.
Yes, in Nakuru County.
How far from Nakuru town?
Quite a distance, about 2 hours.
That's a long time. That's a long drive.
Yes.
That's from here to Naivasha.
Yes. Yeah. So you go from Nakuru, maybe through Molo, towards Olunguruani side, and then you will find my home somewhere there.
Thank you very much for the beautiful books that you've given me. The other one, this first one is called the PhD Journey. You are here, Strategies for Enrolling, Thriving, and Excelling in a PhD Program by Dr. Gladys Ngetich. So I have interviewed 2 doctors so far. The first one is Dr. Zippy, and then here you are, Dr. Ngetich, right?
Yes.
Congratulations on your doctorate.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank
it's an amazing thing. I can only dream of it. You know?
Would you want to do it?
A PhD? That's a very important question. But a PhD in what? I would love to, if I were to do a PhD, I would do PhD in communications or marketing or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are the areas you are interested in. Okay.
And then you have another book that you've given to me. Jagero, thanks for having me on your show, Gladys. It's amazing. This is done by Gladys Ngetich and Elisha Ngetich.
Yes.
No relations.
What's the look?
No relations.
No relations.
No
Just
relation.
a random coincidence.
Your husband?
No. Why are you saying husband? Why didn't you say a sibling?
Joke. The Bold Dream, Transcending the Impossible, inspired by 2 stories of a medical doctor and aerospace engineer. Dr. Gladys Kipchero Ngetich, PhD, and Elisha Kemo Ngetich. Thank you very much for these beautiful books.
Welcome.
You know?
Yeah.
And congratulations for attaining is that the highest education that somebody can ever have?
Yeah, PhD.
Or there is another one.
I think PhD is the highest.
PhD is the highest.
Yeah, because generally you go from high school to undergrad.
From nursery.
Okay, nursery, primary, high school, undergrad. You get a bachelor's degree, you do a master's, you get a master's degree, and then you do a PhD, you get a PhD doctor.
You don't have a master's.
I don't have a master's. Long story.
Long story.
Yes.
That's why we're here, the long story. So I want to start by, by your story, where you were born. We are going to be talking, the story is that I want to talk to you about how you attained your PhD at a young age of 28 years old, correct?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do not have PhDs. At least it's a big deal, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's a big deal. A lot of reading. Do you think that having PhD, is it a lot of reading? Is it a lot of research, or is it a lot of learning? Like, because I know PhD, there is not so much of a teacher standing before you and lecturing you, correct?
Yes, correct.
It's basically you doing your own thing, your own research, your own reading, and coming up with. So once you have done the, how does the PhD work though?
You mean like how do you get it? Like the
No,
process?
yes. How does it work? How does it? Yeah.
In terms of how you get it?
Yeah. So for example, you say, okay, now I've started my PhD schooling.
Yes.
How does it play out?
Okay, so let me start by saying it's so unlike high school and undergraduate, where the program will be pretty much same. If you do an undergrad in marketing, and I do undergrad in marketing, it doesn't really matter kama nilifanyia Maseno or you did in whatever, the program will always be the same. But then for PhD, it will really differ so much from person to person, from uni to uni, from country to country. And so my own experiences, although they are like commonalities, but then in terms of personal experiences, totally different. You will ask Zippy. I'm sure she'll tell you a different story of like how she went through it. But generally, a PhD is a long research program where you embark on a journey of, they call it adding knowledge or uncovering things that have not been uncovered in your area of specialization. And so you, in the first year, and like I mentioned, it differs from country to country, uni to uni. In the UK, particularly at Oxford, there are no classes required. And so from day one, you are a PhD student, you are a researcher. But in the US, I understand you've got to do some classes and earn some credits. But yeah, so my journey was mostly research heavy. And from day one, you are given this problem. I don't want to go into details, but
you say, I think that you present the problem by yourself. You say that this is the area of study I want to go on.
Yeah, so again, depends. Some people come in and they absolutely want to research that thing. If you tell them to do something else, they'll say no. Like I mentioned, I don't have a master's degree. Sasa kimbele yangu, after undergrad, I was like, there was this chance to do a PhD. Someone told me about it and I was like, let's go for it. And so I jumped into it. I did not know really like what the whole thing was about. And even in terms of particular research area or research topic, I did not know. What I knew was that I wanted to do a PhD in thermofluids. Thermofluids is this area of mechanical engineering dealing with air conditioning, dealing with, we call it heat transfer and things like that. So I wanted to do a PhD in that area. I did not know, or I didn't have a specific project. And so when I talked with my advisor at Oxford, and I told him, I was candid, I was like, I like this area, but I have no idea like what I should research for my PhD. And he was like, that is good because we have so many research topics and we are looking for bright students to take them up. So what happens is some industries, for instance, the project I was doing was a Rolls-Royce project. So they bring these research problems to the uni and they give these problems to a professor. And they give the professor money, and then they tell the professor, you figure out, look for bright students to take up these projects, here is the money. And so that was the case in my case. So when I arrived in the lab, the professor was like, Gladys, we have problem 1, 2, 3 in thermofluids. Which one would you like? And so he gave me like 2 weeks to just like check and see. After 2 weeks, I was like, I like research A. And that is how I landed in my PhD research. And so from day one now, it's like going to the lab, setting up experiments, running these experiments, collecting data, and then checking, is this making sense? And then you go to on a computer, you do what we call computer simulations. You try and compare. Most of the time, the PhD people will tell you they don't work. Like the comparison, they are just useless. And then you have to repeat and repeat until things kind of just make sense.
Are you in a conversation with the company that brought this this thing that they don't understand that they want to research on? Like, for example, in your case, were you talking to Rolls-Royce guys?
No, not really. Occasionally, but I was mostly in contact with my advisor. But then my advisor was connecting with them. But then once in a while, I think once in 3 months or so, would go there to do like presentation and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to do a deep dive into your research later on. But now we want to take several steps back.
Yes.
And talk about your life a little bit, where it started.
Okay.
So where were you born? In what kind of family?
I was born in a family. We are 9 kids. The setup is a typical Kenyan village. Somewhere we call it Olengurwani. So I was born in a village in Olengurwani. 9 kids. Just typical. Just picture typical. Do you have a picture of a typical Kenyan village?
But I don't have a typical Kalenjin village.
Really?
No, I am Nilot, but I'm not.
Okay.
What is a typical? I think the word typical can be very, very different depending on where you're coming from.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're coming from, let's say, Kisumu, there is a way of life.
Okay.
We go to River Nyando to get water for cooking and for drinking. If you go to a Maasai, Manyata is completely different.
Okay.
If you go to Giriama or Mijikenda, it's completely different. If you go to Meru, it's different. If you go to Cumberland, it's also very different. So I want you to draw for me a picture of what it was like. Was everybody having their own room where they were sleeping?
I wish.
See?
I wish.
That is now when you say it was difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try paint a picture. I wanted to say typical, maybe in the sense of, like no electricity, no water, and you have to go to the river to fetch water.
Yeah.
And I think it's mostly it cuts across most villages. But yeah, it was mostly boys and girls' roles were defined. And as a girl, we were in the welfare side of things. In charge of fetching water.
That's very interesting and amazing how you are calling it. That you were calling it what again?
The welfare side. The food, for the food to be on the table and utensils cleaned. Yeah, that was like our kind of role.
It's amazing how you are calling it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very, very amazing.
Why?
You are giving it a very positive name. When you think about girls in the village, a lot of people bring it out as if, they're the ones that were being overworked, they're the ones that were doing this. But for you, you are giving it you're making it look very positive. Are you positive about how the division of roles in the society? Like, for example, in a Nilotic household, the women will fetch water, they will go look for the firewood, they will light the fire, they will do the utensils. They will take care of the baby that is crying. Yeah. As somebody who was now well-traveled.
Now that you want us to go real deep, it was not fair. But again,
so
fair.
Now you've changed.
Wait, but fair.
So now you've changed.
But fair, fair is fairness is also relative. Because I'm with my brother here, and when we have debates, they also say it was a lot of work for them, because they were on the non-welfare, I want to call it non-welfare side, taking care of the cattle.
The industrial side of it.
Yes, and it can be a lot of work. We used to go to the farm, all of us, and weed and do all of things. So I feel like depending on where you come from, if you everyone can feel like, I was doing more, or the other way around. But I think for me, up to now, I think the thing that pains me a lot is the lack of voices for women and girls. Because then I think growing up, as long as you're a girl, your say is the last. The men in the house will have a say, and pretty much full stop.
I don't remember having a say in our household.
Because it's a different household.
Did you say that was cutting across the village, or
no? I'm saying my upbringing. Yeah. And at least from what I know, it was kind of a constant across the village. There is, I don't know, it's really sad. I think it's starting to change now, but yeah, like, I don't know, I just felt like we were second class citizens kind of thing.
In the house.
Yeah, because decisions about you sometimes would be made by the men, father, brothers. Yeah, but then for, like they say, education helps a lot. It's definitely changed things. Like now I have a stronger say in most of the things, and I think because of education, now I can give suggestions and whatever. But like growing up, that was pretty much it. But do you know what Jagero? It's only now when I reflect and I'm like, how are we surviving? But when you do not have another thing to compare, that is the sweetest life. Like, you just don't know anything else outside that kind of life. And that was it. Like, it was really nice.
So you were 9 children. Your parents were hell-bent on educating all of you.
Yes.
He wanted all of you guys to go to school.
Yes.
What were they doing themselves?
Mom, stay-home mom. She didn't
Homemaker.
She didn't go past high school, although she says she really wanted. But then apparently her mom, my grandma, was like, nini mbaya na wasichana anataka kusoma tu. Because those days, just study to high school and then get married, whatever. And then Dad studied, got a job. At some point, he was working for Kenya Pipeline. So he was the main breadwinner. Yes.
How many girls? How many boys?
4 girls, 5 boys.
So
yes.
Pretty much, well distributed.
Very well distributed. Actually, 4 boys, 4 girls, and last born boy. Yes.
Oh, this is the last one?
Yes.
How old is he?
How old are you? 23.
23. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So when you were growing up, I still find it very difficult to pronounce that name.
Olengurwani. It's actually Maasai name, as you can tell.
Olengurwani.
Olengurwani.
What did you want to become when you were that? Do you remember you being a young girl in the village and your aspiration? Did you want to become a teacher, a nurse, a pilot? What was in your head now that your father decided that you had to go to school?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
Like, when you are young, like when I mean, that is what people ask me, right? Like right now they say, Gladys, the author, the engineer, the entrepreneur, the whatever. What did you want to become when you were young? Nothing. Like when you were young, and I see it even with my nieces and my nephews, even kids in high school, I call them kids, I'm sorry. But like when you think of someone 12 years, what do they know about life? And if you grew up in the village, they're like limited, you've not been exposed to the world. And so, did I want, like in terms of career, nothing really. Like I think, and being honest, when I look back, I just wanted to be the best. I was really competitive, thanks to the 4 brothers. It was like an environment of competition. So I wanted to be the best in class. And that was it. Like I just wanted to be the best in maths, the best in class. Did I know what that would mean? Not really. It's only until when I was in Form 3, when we were starting to think about courses to take in uni. 2 of my brothers did pharmacy, and then 2 did engineering. And there was a way they used to make science and maths and STEM look really nice and easy. And so it's only in Form 3 that I really wanted now to do, or rather, like I wanted to study engineering in uni, particularly mechanical engineering. So that is the first time I knew what I wanted to do. But in primary, no. It's just like play, eat, repeat, and go with the schedule that the parents are giving you. If I was to be honest.
Yeah. Then you do your Form 4.
Yes.
How many marks do you get?
So my high school story is very interesting, and it's very interesting in the sense of.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Many people know me from the 298 marks that I scored in KCP, and then when I went to high school in 4 years, that 298, and like I was telling you, I could not write, I could not speak well in English in Form 1. And then I was able to transform that to 80 points, A minus. So 2008 is when I got my KCSE, when I did my KCSE. Got 80 points, A minus. I was the best student in that school, the best student in the district. And then I landed a full scholarship from James Finlay to come to JKUAT to do my undergrad.
These guys that are farming beef. What do they do?
James File? The tea guys in Kericho.
Oh, the tea guys in Kericho.
Yes, I think they've changed the name now. But the tea guys in Kericho, yeah.
So you got 240?
298.
298
out of 500.
Out of 500.
Yes.
So just about average.
Yes. But also, like, you have to contrast with the leading candidate who had 472. I think he just
in
missed.
your school?
No, in the whole of Kenya.
The whole of Kenya?
Yeah.
At 472. Do you know his name? Do you know where he is now?
Yes, we actually.
You met?
In the how do I call it? Like, just the world is really small, and you never know where you land. So we met, and this is how we met, yeah? We'll talk about my story.
Yeah.
But then I found myself in Oxford. I was doing my PhD. I was a senior-ish student. That was, I think, 2018. Then I know the student. I've just forgotten the name, but like, I mean, everyone knew him from the 2004. But I think he went to the US and then finally came to Oxford. And so one time at Oxford, we were having like dinner, Kenyan students, and people were introducing themselves. And then he just said his name. And I was like, wait, you showed us dust in 2004, and we were now in the same table. But that is the beauty of life. Yeah, like it's a milima na mabonde. You go down, you come up, down and up.
Yeah.
And and life changes like
what
that.
What did you say transformed you? Because being average, like 298 over 500, and then becoming an A student, how did you begin to change your life when you arrived? When you started your high school schooling?
It's good. I was reflecting a lot with the Bold Dream book, and that was the first time that I actually sat down and because it was really a huge transformation, and I know many other students have gone through the transformation. For me, I would attribute it to number one, gratitude. And let me explain. So gratitude in the sense that I've tried to paint the picture of primary school, of like home, the village, and we used to go to school, normal local primary school, go to school, come back home for lunch, go back to school. It wasn't performing very well. Actually, with 298 marks, I think I was number 4 overall in that school. So that was like the kind of performance from that primary school. Then with a lot of I like to call it welfare, but like with a lot of home chores for a girl. I'm firstborn girl, so most of those kind of landed on my shoulders. And yeah, I used to juggle between home chores and schoolwork. All of a sudden, you transport this girl to a boarding secondary school away from home, where you just shower, dress in pretty uniform, and study. Like, that is the only agenda in the school. And so for me, I like to call it's called Mercy Girls. It's in Kipkelion, an area around Kericho. For me, Mercy Girls was my alliance. And this is what I've learned in life, Jagero. It's all about attitude. And it's a mentality most of the time. And this is why. So for me, Mercy Girls was my alliance. Because even if I wanted to go to alliance, my marks could not allow. So that was it. For me, that was it. But then in contrast, there were some students who came from posh primary schools, some in Nairobi, some places. So when they joined Mercy Girls, for them it was a downgrade. And I remember quite a number of them wanting to be transferred to better schools, either in the region or just like nationally. And I remember they would be told by the parents, just, hang on there, just 1 term, 2 terms, we will transfer you. And they did. Some were transferred, but some were not. And they just kind of just stayed there, shingo upande, for the 4 years. And the attitude is everything, because for me, then I arrived, I was not going to be transferred anywhere. I was not expecting to go anywhere. And so I landed and I was scanning for ways of maximizing opportunities or improving my grades. Just like how can I do the best in this school? And so it started with that gratitude thing. That mentality is a game changer. So that is number 1. Number 2 is the power of teachers. I could not write a composition in Form 1. My composition book, when we wrote the first composition, our English teacher she didn't give me any mark. Because now every sentence ilikuwa tuna red marks. And if she was to be genuine, it wasn't even 0. I think it was supposed to be negative something. So she didn't want to discourage me. So she didn't award me any marks. And I was curious, like...
She did not award any marks?
Yes, she just gave me back the book. Because really, every sentence, like, tenses are mixed. Do you know, in Form 1, I did not know the difference between go and went. Like, when should I switch between go and went in a sentence? I did not know. So tenses are mixed. Kalenjin there, like I direct translated things from Kale. Now, my madam was Kikuyu. So I'm sure she was wondering what the heck are these phrases. But a Kale would read and would laugh because ataelewa. That was in Form 1. And I could not write a composition. And I remember just looking for her in her office. And I was asking, I did. I asked her, Kwanza, why didn't I get any mark? And I was like, okay, sit down. It's a long story. Let's have a conversation. And then I was asking her, what can I do? I really need to improve. All the other subjects were really great, apart from the languages, English and Kiswahili. So I knew if I improve English and Kiswahili, I'd be good. Humanities, sciences, they were easy for me. So anyway, she told me the easiest way to improve in a language is to practice. And so practice speaking and practice writing. The first thing you will do, every week, you write 3 compositions. She would mark and return. And I did. I was talking to students the other day, and this is what I learned, Jagero, lesson number 2, is that I think as per the curriculum, I suppose we were supposed to write maybe 1 composition per month, or maybe 2 per month. But I was writing 3 compositions per week. And I was telling these students, it does not matter how talented you are. If someone is working 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, consistently, they will catch up. And it might take 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, but they'll catch up. And I did. In Form 4, I was writing one of the best compositions. I think my composition was even was highlighted. We used to do Nandi Central mock with Akina Kapsabit. And I think my composition was one of the best there. Anyway, so that is how the power of a teacher. And I don't think teachers really know how powerful they are. Like they can, just like this, transform life of a student. And Madam Mary transformed my life.
I remember when I was very poor in maths.
Yes.
At the high school. In high school.
Yes.
So my teacher, Mr. Majuek, he called us, the 4 of us, and told us that was Form 3. Form 4. Before we were approaching after we had done the mock exams. Okay. And I think when we did mocks, I got a D-. Okay. And every other thing was A. Wow. B.
We had opposite problems. Yeah.
So we were a couple of very bright students that were very poor in maths. And obviously it was going to be very problematic for us. So he called us and told us that we have to be fair to each other. We have to be honest with each other. That there are particular... I've looked at the way you guys are answering questions.
Yes.
There are particular questions that you can't take. If you attempt them, they are wasting your time. It's making you fail. So he devised a plan. I want to uplift you guys to C.
Okay. C+. Yeah, I like the realistic goal.
So he told us that there are particular questions I don't want you guys to tackle.
Yes.
Or to attempt.
Yes.
So he told us this question that have to do with nautical miles.
Yes.
Don't.
Yeah.
This questions to do with what is it called? What they call the graph. Yeah, the graph questions. Remember they were giving you B1, B2, and then it becomes very complicated after that.
And it has A, B, C, D, or whatever. Yeah.
So he told us to just attempt the first one, which was basically B1 and then A1, and then leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then he did all the way to the 2 papers. I think there were 2 papers or 1.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how I got a C+.
What? You even surpassed the target.
Yes, I got a C+.
Well done.
Yes, I got a C+.
Power of a teacher.
It was my only C.
Yeah. Wow.
Power of a teacher.
Power of a
the
teacher.
story was yours. Go ahead.
No, but can we pause and shout out to all the teachers?
Yes.
And can
Shout
government
out.
please
Shout
take care
out.
of teachers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the government is not taking care of them, right?
Teachers are important. Teachers are really important. At least for me, right? I would not be here if it wasn't for that English. Like, you can get all the A's, like you were saying. If you have a D in one subject, it becomes really difficult.
It brings everything down.
Yeah. And even especially with now English, yeah, because everything else, even writing my PhD up, massive thesis, you need the language.
You need the language.
Yeah.
You need the language to write it.
So shout out to Madam Mary Karano.
Madam Mary Karanja. Karano.
Yes.
Is she still around?
She left the school, but she went somewhere else. So, and she actually underestimated what she did. Fast forward, when I was in Oxford, there is this award they give. They ask people, right, from the scholarship that I got, and we'll talk about it later. They tell you, write a story about a teacher or a mentor who changed your life. And without question, I wrote about Madame Mary Grano and how I would not be even at Oxford if it wasn't for her to improve my English. And she got the award. And they were sending her, I don't know if it was a trophy certificate, I don't know if there was cash, I don't know. It was like a nice package. And they asked me, what is her address in Kenya? And so I called her asking, what is your address, your current address? And she was like, she gave me. A few weeks later, she was like, what? I received something. Oh my goodness, like, I don't deserve this and what. I was like, you did a lot. And she said, I was just doing my job. So anyway, shout out to all the teachers.
Shout out to all the teachers.
Yes, going above and beyond.
Yeah, I remember, when I was in, there's a Kalenjin woman that helped me a lot.
Yes.
When I was in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not have school fees.
Uh-huh.
But this lady, she told me to write a letter to the school and tell the school to give me sponsorship.
Oh.
And they did.
Oh, where was the lady?
She was one of the teachers.
Okay. In college?
Yes.
Okay.
College here in Nairobi.
Okay. Okay. Mentors.
So teachers can be great
mentors.
people.
I know. 100%. 100%.
Did you know that you're gonna pass with the high flying colors?
At what age? At what stage?
From 4. You got
I knew.
A-, right?
A-, yes.
Yeah.
I think A-8 is boundary of A- and A, I think, somewhere there. But also, I broke the school record. The first pass, the highest score ever recorded in the school was 76, I think, or was it 78? And so it was a big deal. And the school was founded when? 70-something or 80s? But also the school... and this is something that it will be a mistake if I don't talk about it. And I have to talk about it because it forms part of who I am, or really the character and the values that I still try and practice now. So the school, when we arrived, the headmistress, Sister Nyango, very, very strict sister, she passed on last year. But anyone who went to school, she was called Sister Peter. She liked to be called Sister Peter. But anyone who went to that school and she knows that name, I'm sure while I'm speaking, I can picture Mercy Girls alumni nodding because everyone attributes their character to her. When we arrived in school, she said, academics here are almost, not A or B per se, but she was like, first and foremost, it's discipline and character. If you get an A, well and good. But I'll consider myself, she used to say, I'll consider myself I will feel like I've failed if I give you an A and you don't have character and discipline. And so the school preached and emphasized character, discipline, using your talents to serve the rest, the school and the rest. So anyway, just to say, like, it was, I don't want to say academics wasn't an issue, but like they really focused on building an all-rounded some girls with discipline and character, and and using your talents. And we'll talk about the scholarship badai, but I got the scholarship because of the talents that I was trying to unleash, and it started from high school.
So you're finished. How do you get to Finleys? How do they get to you?
Opportunities are with people. And this is a phrase I'm borrowing from Joseph. I interviewed on the YouTube channel. It's called GN Inspire. I said two episodes back, and I was asking him when he looks back, what is the lesson he's learned? And he said, opportunities are with people. And so every time you try and connect with people, just know that your next big opportunity is one person away. So anyway, I got to know about the James Finley Scholarship. I was volunteering in church. I had been called back to Mercy Girls to teach and kind of inspire the students there, because I had done really well, and I was shining in soccer, in track, and I was like a good example. At least that is what the headmistress thought. So anyway, while I was volunteering in church around that time, someone from the office of DC or DO, I can't remember, in Kipkelion, while I was someone said, Gladys did her KCSE last year, did really well. She was leading in Kipkelion and whatever. And so he approached me badai. He was like, you should consider James Finley Scholarship. They give 2 scholarships. I don't know if they've increased to tea growing areas. So Kericho, Bomet. I don't know if Narok is, but I know Bomet and Kericho. So anyway, he gave me the forms. I filled the forms and went through interviews, and that is how I got the scholarship, through someone.
The scholarship was to take you to the university?
Yes. It funded the entire 5 years of uni, 80,000 every year. So they used to write a check for school fees, and the remaining balance out of 8 Gs went to my account. So I did not struggle in campus at all. And so shout out to Finlays and all the sponsors giving students money. It helped a lot. Yeah, so that is how I got the scholarship.
Took the burden off the shoulders of your parents completely, as far as your tertiary education is concerned.
Yep, because from JQuat, I was under scholarship, at Oxford under scholarship. Even after that, I still got some scholarship. Yeah, so that was it. That was my dad's last fee. I think he paid in high school from 4. Yeah.
You come to university. Where do you go to the university?
Juja Boys.
Juja
They
Boys.
call it Juja Boys. They used to call it Juja Boys. I learn now that I understand it's changed, but it was because it was mostly engineering courses there. There were like too many men in the compound, few girls. So JQuat. I went to JQuat to do mechanical engineering, 2010 to 2014. Yes.
What do you guys do at? What do they study in mechanical engineering? What is mechanical engineering? There is a difference between mechanical, civil, and civil engineering.
Yes.
Are they only 2?
Engineering?
Yeah.
Many. There is electrical.
There is electrical engineering.
Telecommunication. I mean, engineering can be, if you do like broad categorization, you could have maybe 2 or 3. But then if you like split and go deeper, you could have aerospace, energy engineering, soil and water engineering, so many.
Solar engineering.
So, yeah. But if you were to like broadly, maybe you would say civil, you would say mechanical, and then you would say maybe electrical. Am I forgetting another one? But yeah, if you do like broad categorization, maybe you have 3 or 4. Otherwise, if you split, you have so many of them.
So what would you be doing after doing mechanical? What was it like in school studying mechanical engineering?
What was it like?
Yeah.
Do you want me to say hard or easy or?
How it was?
How it was. I don't know if one word can capture. But how was it? How was it studying engineering? It was interesting.
Did you like it?
A lot. If I was to go back, I would choose mechanical engineering anytime.
How does it differ from the other kind of engineering? What is so special about it? Do you know?
So mechanical engineering, if you study mechanical engineering, like I was saying, inside mechanical engineering, there are so many categories. So you can study mechanical engineering and become an aerospace engineer. You can study mechanical engineering. Mechanical just coming from mechanics. And it's mostly, like this thing is a machine even. Like this thing can be a mechanical thing. It's a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
And then you can, we learned how to make threads. You see how you tighten this thing?
Yeah.
Those threads, we learned how to make them. There are things called pitch and all those things. And so it's a typical mechanical engineering thing. So gears of a car, how to make them, how to calculate the sizing of those things. So pretty much any machine, it would be like...
Any moving part.
Yeah. And you're asking, where do you work after mechanical engineering? It will really depend. So at the end, at least at Jomo Kenyatta, or if you studied mechanical engineering, towards the end of your mechanical engineering, you needed to major in one of the 3 options. You had me mentioning thermofluids. Thermo coming from heat and fluids, water, liquid, whatever. So there is that thermofluid, and then there is, we call it plant or production. Guys processing anything in any factory. You would find mechanical engineering there, plant or production engineers. Think of processing tea leaves from when you pick all through the machines to the end product. All those things, all those machines. Of course, they are electrical guys, right? Like to power the thing. There are so many other engineering there. But like the physical machines, you would need a mechanical engineer there, a plant engineer or production engineer. Uko KCC, from the time you get the milk coming in until it's in the packets there, like the entire line. So pretty much any factory doing value addition, there would be a machine there. Moving. There would be a machine there. And that would be a work of a mechanical engineer to like take care of that, like either make it or like take care of it, maintaining it, etc. Then number 3 is automotive, anything to do with cars. That would be a work of a mechanical engineer, like cars like the body, the engine side of things. That would be an automotive engineer, learning about the engine, the combustion side of the of things. How do you ensure if it's efficient? You are taking in less fuel and going further. That is a work of a mechanical engineer, combustion side of things. Mechanical stroke automotive engineer. If you like aeroplanes, you're still a mechanical engineer, but then you now apply that mechanical engineering in the flying machines, aeroplanes, rockets, and you become an aerospace engineer. And I get this question a lot, like people saying, I want to do aerospace engineering, but it's not in Kenya, or like it's not in this university I've been called. I know KU, I think KU they offer aerospace engineering, but also I like to tell the students, you go do like mechanical engineering, and then do mechanical engineering, then you can specialize later, and then you can do aerospace in case like your university doesn't have a aerospace directly. So anyway, that is mostly, mechanical engineering is really broad. Yes.
The mechanics in Kenya studied mechanical engineering?
Yes, a diploma or certificate. Yes, diploma or certificate. Either they went to school or they've been learning while at the job.
Why don't we have mechanics in with the degrees during being mechanics?
I mean, it's a whole debate, and that's why like Kenya,
is it a debate?
It's a whole debate, but that's why Kenya is trying to emphasize or strengthen TVETs, because a degree, the progression is so that the higher you go, the more of your brain you use and less of your hands. And so I think ideally, like when you do a master's, for instance, your work when you go to the industry is not to do the work with your hands. It's more of brain power, like to think the bigger picture. If we connect this thing like this, how about tomorrow? And then someone else will just connect. Done. They don't have to think about tomorrow.
Do you know why I ask you that,
yes.
Daktari?
Yes.
We have cars coming in.
Yes.
In 2024, like a Mercedes-Benz made in 2017, made in 2020, is the mechanics is very complicated. And then you bring it into the country. Maybe you've heard some sound here a couple of minutes ago. There is a garage on the other side.
Okay.
And these guys are trying to figure out the mechanics of this Mercedes car.
Okay.
Made in 2020.
Okay.
We have Toyota. The other day I saw Toyota 2024. It's a beast. The mechanics are very complicated. So I've always wondered why we do not have. I would love to see a PhD student being a mechanic.
No, it won't. Even me, I'm an aerospace engineer. My PhD was in aerospace, but I cannot connect things for you.
Why not?
Because like I'm telling you, the education, at least the way they designed, and I also know that the education system is outdated and it needs like a lot of revision. But I think the way they structured was so that the higher you go, the more of you become a manager-ish, the higher you go. And so you are like thinking, even like with the PhD, like my PhD was 4 years. And if I show you the thing that I was researching, you will just laugh at me. You might not even believe my PhD. The thing I'm looking for the size of the thing. Okay, if you divide your smartphone into 4 quarters.
Yes.
Into 4 quarters.
That would be like this size.
That was the size of the thing that I was researching. 4 years, sleepless nights, that size. in an aircraft engine. So in an aircraft engine, they have like maybe 30,000 components.
30,000?
That is, over. That was just one component. So now the rest of the 29 whatever, I don't know how they connect. I would tell you in and out about this thing. It's called turbine blade. So I can tell you everything. I wrote a thesis, a 200-word thesis about that thing. It's a strip. And that is the nature or the way at least they designed the academic system. Like the higher you go, if you're going to do research, you pick one thing and you go deeper. You understand that thing really fully. And so now when you bring me an aircraft engine, I can't assemble it for you, but I can tell you about this. But then there is someone who did a diploma or a certificate, and they mastered how to connect the parts of an aircraft, and they will connect. But guess what? I can tell the person, like I would be able to tell the person, I mean, you've connected really well, but do you know this thing will not fly? Because then I can see the bigger picture, because now I understand how aerodynamics work. I can go to a computer and I can like quickly connect things and I can see the bigger picture kind of thing. So anyway, sorry, it's an old debate, but just to tell you, even in uni, what bachelor's degree, it's a lot of theory. At JQuat, they tried to teach us how to do hands-on, like even threading, like I was telling you, we did like making threads. But it's really basic. If you compare what the hands-on that diploma people do, it cannot compare with the degree. And because I think that was the nature of education, that when you go to do a degree, you need to understand like just roughly how the thing works, but then you need to be more of a manager. But as you know, as the debate goes, in Kenya, we ended up producing more managers. Now who will be managing who? We don't have now like people support. And that's why they were saying, you know what, let's like promote the TVET so that we have more people like able to do things. Anyway, I might be wrong. So people can tell us, people can please chime in and say what they think about this debate. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their local area. Now, the truth is, there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much, and now back to program.
You don't look satisfied with the answer. Or you're still wondering, what would you do? What would you do if you were to design?
I have seen a lot of, for example, in America, in the European countries,
yes,
you can see that somebody can bring a car and say that, okay, I don't like the way Toyota made this car and the way the chassis works. I want to remove this chassis and modify it. You see, I don't see a lot of that happening here in the country. Like, and most of the times, even when you go to a mechanic, he's just winging it. He doesn't understand really how this thing works. There's a time I was having a Mercedes C200, And I had a problem for 2 years with the car.
What was the problem?
The problem was that the rim was touching the what is it called? There is what is it called?
The body of the car?
No. The suspension. The suspension that comes from and goes down to the tire.
Yeah.
So the rim kept touching it, And I went to several mechanics and they were not able to take care of it.
What were they telling you about it?
They were saying that there was a problem with the alignment of the wheel. But then I would take the car for the alignment, and then I would tell these guys, the mechanic is saying that you're doing a shoddy job. And then this guy, once I took it to a garage.
Yes.
At the Apo Karibuna Adams.
Yes. Yes.
And the guy told me, look, this is a machine. And this is the alignment machine.
Okay.
It has got 0 issues. Look at it. It's running. It's telling me there is no issue. So when the guys are telling you there that there is a problem with the alignment is wrong and off, this tire is completely okay.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
He told me, okay, then we should take the car for the entire car for alignment. The guy goes down there in that pit and aligns the car, and the machine is telling him the car is aligned.
Yes.
We get the car on the road.
Yes.
The car is having a problem.
Oh no.
It keeps touching.
Yeah.
Okay, these guys go tell me
Yes.
that you have a problem with the suspension. It has to be the suspension that had a knock.
Okay.
Guess what?
Yes.
I went and bought new suspension. The right and the left, it was still touching.
Oh no.
So there is a time I
Yes.
went to do what is it called? So ilikuwa inaguza tu mpaka itaacha yenyewe. It will create a hole. And then now it will no longer be touching it.
Yeah.
So there's a time I went to do the normal servicing.
Yes.
And then this guy tells me, what's wrong with this suspension? And I told him, well, you tell me what's wrong with the suspension.
Yes.
So the guy told me that there is a guy in Karen who is a teacher. He teaches mechanics and cars. You go to him. If it doesn't solve it, then you probably should have the car,
Yes.
So I go to this guy.
Yes.
And I park the car. It
Yes.
was around 10
Yes.
a.m.
Yes.
I go to Karen. I park the car. The guy comes out and tells me what's the problem with the car. Then he gets one of his mechanics to remove the tire. And then once he has removed the tire, he looks at the thing.
Yes.
And tells me, oh, there is a first problem. So the Mercedes suspension, and there is something that pops out when you remove the tire.
Okay.
So when you pop it back in, you must pop it back in. If it remains out, then the tire remains out.
All right.
So this guy just took the spanner and gongared that thing like 3-5 times. It went back in, and the car was aligned for 2 years.
Wow.
Yes, for 2 years
Wow.
I was having that thing, and I removed good suspension, replaced the good one.
I know.
So that is why I think most of the times I've seen that a lot of mechanics, they don't understand the cars.
Yes.
And how it operates.
Yes.
And how it moves. So for example, the other day, this guy told me that I have a problem with the steering rack. That was 2 years ago. I went to Nissan, and Nissan changed the entire rack.
Okay.
Not Nissan approved vendor
Okay.
changed the entire rack for 270,000, and the problem never went.
Yeah.
Up to today, that problem is never gone.
Oh.
So between my steering rack and the two arms,
Yes.
when you make a tight corner, you hear a cracking sound. And they have never figured it out to today. So the guy told me to buy a new rack.
Is the same Mercedes?
No.
These are different story.
car. This is
Oh,
now a Nissan.
no. Oh,
This is now a Nissan.
Yeah.
That problem was never gone.
Yeah.
Anyway, the story is yes.
But the bottom line is,
Yes.
yes, I agree with you. I think, yes. And also, can we also like appreciate the fact that we also don't manufacture a lot, and I think that is why we've been having this debate over
that is the other
we need to
question I wanted to
manufacture.
ask you.
Yeah, we need to like be manufacturing things, and I think that is when then like the whole industry will kind of balloon and boom. Otherwise, then we just import things, and then we just repair and maintain. Yeah.
When you finished your mechanical course,
Yes.
what was the idea? Where did you want to go work? At Kirubi and Industries?
At Kenyan.
You wanted to go to Kenyan?
Yes. We had they give good money. That was the first thing that we were factoring in. And then the kind of job. That is, I don't know.
Working
I
with
don't know if
turbines.
it's true. Yes, turbines. So either Kenyan or GDC.
What
most
is
of
GDC?
GDC, Geothermal Development Company in Nakuru. Yeah,
It's different
and
from
you know,
Kenyan.
it's different from Kenyan. And you know, I studied because I did like thermofluids, and so definitely that would be like ideal place to practice.
That's what you did at
JQuat. So I did mechanical engineering, and then you major into either three, like thermofluids, or plant, like I was telling you, in a factory, or automotive. So some of my colleagues wanted to do like automotive, but I wanted to like do thermofluids. But anyway, so most of us wanted to go to Kenyan.
But let me tell you, take you back and explain to me what thermofluids are and where we get them in our different day-to-day lives.
Activities. I've given you air conditioning. It's a very good example of air conditioning.
I've never understood how that thing works.
Bas.
Do you know how
I give you a lecture 101?
Yes. How does it work?
Yes.
Where does it get the air?
So you cool. We call you cool the whole essence of air conditioning. It could be like to warm a room or to cool a room.
Yes.
So the whole essence in thermofluids is to manipulate liquids, gases, to manipulate fluids, liquids, gases, whatever, to do whatever you want them to do. So if the room is cold, like right now, if you want it to be warm, we warm the liquid depending on what you want to achieve.
Where is the liquid that you're warming?
So it depends. So for instance, even water. See, you've seen like boilers. You boil maji.
Yeah.
And then in those, you've seen those racks yenye inaekwangwa kwa ukuta. You boil the maji, while the maji inapitia kwa hiyo rack, if you fan inatoa heat because the thing is hot.
So you fan what is hot.
So yeah, you can literally if you want to warm a space, yeah, if you can just nyumbani tu, if you do an experiment, you boil maji,
yes,
and then utengeneze pipe yenye kuna diameter ndogo. Sasa zile hiyo maji inapitia hivi, inaenda utafute fan. Ufan across hiyo kitu, hizo nini. On the other side, you have very warm air. The easiest air conditioning experiment you can do.
And then what does it do to the cold? What is cold then? The cold.
We are warming the room. If we are warming the room.
So when it is cold, the air is cold, or what is cold?
The air is cold, yes. So you want to warm the air. Like right now, unasikia kuna kabaridi.
Yes.
Yeah, you can warm the air. So there are so many ways of doing that. Another example is I did my attachment at Sarova, 5-star hotel in Mombasa. And people are like, so unasomea mechanical engineering, unafanya nini kwa hoteli? But do you know there is a lot of mechanical engineering going on there? Like the air conditioning, the laundry machines, kitchen machines, all those things. But we were now focused on, because Mombasa is hot, so they have these massive chillers, they call it chillers, where mahali you cool the maji, and then you send it through the pipes like we were saying, and then you cool the room. Or just the normal air conditioning where you have, kuna kitu inaitwa refrigerant. Wacha tusiende thermofluids, itaanza kubo. But
it's
basically...
It's not boring. Do you feel like it's boring?
But that is what we were taught. I think it was called thermofluids. We did like thermofluids 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5, going deeper and deeper. But anyway, very good examples I've given you. The easiest one that many people will understand is air conditioning. So that would be a very good thermofluids project. For my PhD, for instance, it was a thermofluids project in application to aerospace. So even Sai, they gave me a degree. They call it engineering. I got an engineering, and then they call it in aerospace. But I still even don't feel like I'm an aerospace engineer. I feel like I'm a mechanical engineering. So this is what we were doing. So the thing, like I was telling you, that car strip that I was studying for my PhD, that car strip, it's a critical component in an aircraft. So the next time you are flying, unasikia hiyo makelele inatokanga kwa engine.
Yeah.
But
the whirring sound.
Kuna the fan, kuna yenye inatoka kwa fan side, kuna fan ina rotate. But also major noise inatokanga kwa rotating. Kuna a lot of rotating things in an aircraft engine. So this component inaitwa turbine blade, it's responsible for powering the aircraft. So every time, next time ukienda Kisumu na ndege, saa zile munaenda tu hivi, munasonga mbele, ujue turbine blade yenye Gladys alikuwa na research, that thing is responsible for producing power for aircraft. Shida ni ina rotate so fast. Ukisema in 1 second, so nikisema 1 2, before niseme 2, imeenda 160 revolutions. Wow. In 1 second. So it produces a lot of noise and then it becomes very hot. It operates in a hot environment. Temperatures off, sai temperature ni ngapi? 20 degrees.
Yes.
Tuseme 20 degrees. Temperature ya hiyo kitu ni around 2000 degrees.
Wow.
Yes,
it doesn't melt?
If bas Jagero, you should do a PhD. I'll just mahali niliachia, you should pick it up. Because that is exactly that was the first question. Gladys, this thing will melt if we don't do anything about it. Now, what can we do to stop the thing from melting?
So that was your PhD?
Yes.
PhD research?
Yes.
Okay, before that,
I was giving examples of those thermofluids things.
Yeah.
So now that thing is hot. If you do not do anything about it, it will melt. So there is kuna hewa iwa inapitia, cold air inapitia continuously inside and outside that thing, so that I don't know how to call this. Like the thing is hot, but then kuna kitu cold on, kuna cold air pitiaring it, so it doesn't melt.
Constantly chilling it,
kind of thing. So the thing is 2000. The environment where that thing is 2000 degrees. But then when you pitiar the cold air, when you measure the temperature, it will be around 1200. So in a reduce. So and then the thing melts at 1400 thereabout. Just a rough example. So anyway, so the research is now, how can we make sure that the temperature is reduced kabisa so that this thing doesn't melt, and so that you can fly from Nairobi to Kisumu safely every day. So that is a thermofluids project.
We are going to come back into it into details.
Okay.
How do you go to Oxford?
Nandege.
Thermofluids.
No. But I get your question.
What did you call it? The blade?
Turbine blade.
Turbine blade, you propel you to Oxford.
Yes, to London, and then basi kanechukua to Oxford. Oxford is like an hour and a few minutes from London up north. Yes. So
your journey to Oxford.
I get your question. Yes, I get your question. So my journey to Oxford, it's very interesting, and God, you'll allow me to bring out so many lessons.
Yes.
While I'm speaking
Lessons
here,
are good.
I'm speaking here, I'm also trying to direct this message directly to guys who are just starting their undergraduate journeys. So this is what happened at JQuad. Because before I went to Oxford, of course, it was as a result of what happened at JQuad. So we arrived in JQuad 2010 for mechanical engineering. And I remember, the reason I'm bringing it up is that as we all know, like kuna a lot of desperation, or like you study so hard, it's a hard course, and then at the end of it, you don't get a job. Hata sikumaliza story ya Kenyan, but we'll come back to it. Vile nilimaliza from JQuad, I could not get a job. Like I applied, sikupata a job. I even ended up working in a bank. I worked for I&M for some time. A story for another day. But it's important for me to bring it up, just so that for the students who just recently graduated and they are so depressed and almost losing hope. But we will pick up from that story. So when we arrived in JQuad, we were told, first class in mechanical engineering is not something easy. Kuna tu mtu moja. There is one person who got there. One person, another year, one person. We were told it's not something that you get. And so somehow at the back of my mind, I wanted to get a first class. Why? I even don't know. But then to Mambiwa, it's very difficult. But I was just trying. I was every semester, I was attempting to get as many A's as possible. So fast forward, And the person was, someone was like, you know what, EA campus is useless because ukipata first class, 80 points. My first class was 80 points, was 80 something points. Na mi nipate second upper, ama second lower. Guess what? Kenyan when we are hired at Kenyan, starting salary is the same. And then how you progress at Kenyan or whatever company will depend on how hard you work there. And it actually made a lot of sense. And I think most of us relaxed. And we were like, there is actually no need to like work hard for those A's. But Jagero, when I look back now, I'm so grateful. I gave my best anyway, because it was most of our classmates, I'm sure everyone could get an A. It's just that ukifika campus kuna priorities. Kuna mtu kuna wenye wali focus on business and they are doing very well. They were sure they wanted to do like the entrepreneurship side. Some people wanted to go to industry perfectly well. After me, I wanted to go to industry. But then when I look back, I'm so happy that I tried my best anyway and went for that first class, because guess what? As they say, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and the opportunity not to come than the other way around. And so guess what? This first class, and I had 75 A's out of 80 units that we did. When Oxford came calling, they don't take mediocre grades. They wanted like really top of the top, because they take like few students all over the world. And it's even watu wa UK wenyewe, sometimes they don't get it. They don't get into Oxford because it's an elite uni. They are very selective. So when I look back, I'm happy that I went for that first class, and I'm happy that I didn't relax because we had been discouraged not to work hard.
You got 75 A's
out of
80.
I'm mentioning just so that people know it's possible. Because we were told it's not possible to get 70 A's in engineering. That is what we were told.
You broke the records at Massey Girls.
Yes.
You know? Did you break another one this side?
They will have to tell me. I'm not sure. But I think, not only me, our class broke a record actually. At least that I know. We had 9 first classes. And I don't know if before they had gotten that large number of students getting first classes, but our class was very special. And anyway, shout out to my class of 2010 to 2014.
You guys have a WhatsApp group?
Yes, we have a WhatsApp group, yeah. And everyone is doing amazingly well wherever they are. But it was a special class. So anyway, I got those 75 A's. Kuna mtu, I was bragging the other day on TikTok, and I shared one transcript of 1 year, I think in that year, I got all clean A's, the whole year. And someone was like, huyu msichana hatutakula makaratasi. Wacha kutubragia hapa. And Jagero, yes, someone said, hawezi kula makaratasi. Me, I've eaten papers.
You have?
Me, nimekula makaratasi. And Oxford happened because of the papers. Just to say, I know, and I'm very aware, and I'm really sorry for the guys who, like, it's really hard. I mean, there is just something wrong with our system, yeah? Like, we bring out graduates, na hakuna opportunities, that I'm aware. And also, I was struggling those days to get a job. But also just for the guys who like studying and who likes to go for those grades and want to research and whatever, there is a niche for them. We have to say there is a niche for them. And like the research, and if you want to go to these elite universities, you have to then take care of your grades. So anyway, the A's that I got a first class honors, and that is one component that took me to Oxford. The other component, and that's why I was mentioning my high school, they encouraged us to use our talents. The school motto was education for service. And the headmistress was like, always strive to bring your talents to the world. And so my talents for me, ilikuwa soccer. I still play soccer. I had this, ilikuwa futa na mbio. And I did that in high school. I was shining there. I did that at JKUAT. I represented JKUAT in 3 editions of East Africa University Games. Moja nilikosa kwenda because I was representing JKUAT somewhere in Norway. There was a student conference in Norway. But I'm bringing all this up also to encourage the guys who are in campus. Says, in between dating and class, please create time to do something. Like ingia politics. And in between drinking, dating, and classes, Surely there is a lot of time and energy in campus. Please, hiyo talent yako ya photography, piga picha, weka Instagram, poetry, sema poems hapo tuweke TikTok and all the, like, use your talents. Tafuta vile unaweza tumia your talents. So for me, I keep mentioning those because literally that is what gave me scholarship to go to Oxford. So November 2014, I was in my final year at Jomo Kenyatta. Nikapata hii scholarship inaitwa Rhodes Scholarship. RHODES. So for the guys who are in final year or recently graduated, you can look it up. So Rhodes Scholarship, they want you to have excellent grades because you take the scholarship only at the University of Oxford, nowhere else. And then number 2, they want you to show leadership. And then number 3, they want you to demonstrate out-of-class excellence in anything. In anything, politics, poetry, whatever, drama, sports. And so Mimi, I had all the 3s really easily. I could demonstrate all of those so easily. And that is how I got the scholarship now to go to Oxford. And they funded my 4 years of PhD at Oxford. So that is how I found myself there. Yes.
Rhodes Scholarship.
Rhodes Scholarship, yes. They pick 2 students every year from Kenya. So it's massively competitive.
So you are among the 2.
What do I say?
Yes. At Mercy Finlay, you are picking how many?
2. Oh yeah, I'm starting to see a trend. I had not seen that trend.
But you had gone to Europe before. You were in Norway. You had gone to Norway. That was the only place you had gone before?
Yes, that was the only time I left Kenya to go to Norway, 2013. It changed my life. You know, I used to think, before nikikuja JKUAT, that was the first time nilipitia Nairobi. Considering JKUAT uko Juja, haikuwa Nairobi. And I used to think Nairobi is really big. Until 2013, I'm in Oslo. And I'm like, wait, there are other big cities in the world. And I think it's just like, boom. I came back to Juja and I was like, I have to go back somewhere, elsewhere. Like there is a world somewhere. And literally, your trip here Norway, it just like changed my life in terms of desiring or knowing that there are bigger cities, bigger things out there. So anyway, that was the first time I left Kenya to go to Norway. It was again for the students in campus. It's open to students in uni. Is it students in uni? Yes, mostly students in uni. You apply. It's a biannual 2-week conference in Trondheim in Norway. So you just write, unajitetea tu. You just write an essay. Why should we pick you? Why should we bring you to Norway? You tetea yourself and you get selected and you can go. So it was 2011, 2013, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25. So the next one is 2025, February. So guys in campus should definitely watch that out. ISFIT. It's called ISFIT, International Students Festival in Trondheim, Norway. ISFIT.
You arrive in Oxford?
Yes.
How was it like landing in Europe to stay there for 4 years? So was it cold?
Very.
It's actually the city is actually called Oxford.
Oxford City, yes.
Oxford City.
Yes.
How long from London?
An hour and some few minutes. Yes.
It's a university town.
Yes.
Lots of foreigners.
Old university town.
Lots of foreigners.
Yes. Yes.
They don't have a Premier League team. Oxford.
They don't have what?
Is there a team there playing for the Premier League?
There is, but they are not top. But there is an Oxford City football team. In the league.
Probably
it's in the lower league.
In the lower leagues, League 1, League 2, League. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the research now.
Jagero. So we had talked about the research.
But not in and now I want you to tell me about the turbine plate.
What do you want? I feel like I've shared so much what we need to know about the turbine plate. Yeah. What else do you want to know about this thing?
I want you to start talking about it afresh, like how you came, how the problem that Rolls-Royce was having with the engine.
You know, I'm feeling traumatized, Jagero.
By?
You are sounding like a professor who was you're sounding like a professor who was doing my defense. You know, during your defense, they ask you such questions.
Yeah.
What was the problem you were solving? And you have to now tell yourself.
What was the problem you were solving, Miss Ngetich? What is the problem you are solving?
You're bringing back trauma, but I'll try to summarize. And before I tell you, you were asking how Oxford was, like generally. If I was to give two emotions, so the negative emotion, the positive emotion, then let's start with the positive. The positive emotion, Oxford changed my life in a positive way. I mean, if you have a certificate from Oxford, an undergrad, as whatever certificate from Oxford, like Oxford is, like when I was joining Oxford, when I was contacting this professor, it's a long journey. For those of you guys who want to know how I went about it, and I think we'll talk about my YouTube channel baadaye.
Yes.
But they can watch there. When I was contacting this professor, alikuwa anasema, which university are you from? Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And he's like, Jomo, what? Like, but then like Oxford, you don't have to explain. Like, it's Oxford. Right. So anyway, so just to say... I
should do my PhD there.
Please. Did you say in marketing? Ama, you want to join turbines?
No.
Okay. Or communications.
Communications.
Yeah, they have a very strong humanities department. I think it's also well known for humanities department. I know.
I'm a very good thinker. I should go there and get first class honors.
In PhD there is no there are no classes. PhD you pass it or you fail it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about the turbine blade.
Yeah. So let's go.
Comes to the question. Yes.
So now at So Rolls-Royce. So Rolls-Royce will bring problems to the uni. So Rolls-Royce would know that university like Oxford would attract like really brilliant minds, students who are looking to get a degree. And for you to get a doctorate degree, you have to do a research. And so I think it's a beautiful connection or combination between academia and industry. And everyone benefits. So Rolls-Royce will not have to hire a very expensive research engineer because Gladys can do not the same level as that engineer, but like some basic level, so that when they are hiring an engineer at a very expensive salary, at least the PhD student has done some certain legwork. Then the engineer can now like just arakisha the research and the thing will be in the aircraft engine haraka sana. So it's a beautiful combination. And I wish at some point in Kenya, we can have that combination. Like we can have that gelling of industry and academia so that when the students are doing projects, it's going directly to industry, or at least it's going directly to the world, or you are actually using real world data. And anyway, that was what we were doing. So Rolls-Royce comes, or rather when I arrived at Oxford, the professor was like I mentioned, I do not know what I wanted to research. I didn't have a particular research topic. And I keep mentioning this just so that people know that you can still do a PhD even if you don't have a particular research topic. At least in engineering. Maybe social science would be different, but I don't think very different. Like you can just reach out. Actually, you just have to reach out to a professor, get their email from the university website, tell them, I'm so-and-so, I'm a thinker, I'm a good writer, and I'm interested, I like what you're doing, and I would want to do a collaboration or join you as a student and do some of your work. You will be surprised. They do email back, and they're like, actually, I've checked your work and your YouTube channel.
I'm gonna do that.
And your YouTube channel, and I like what you're doing. And so we have this problem in Africa, particular case in Kenya. Can you lead that thing? And while you are doing that, you actually get your PhD because it's a project, it's a research project. Very good. Very good. So that is what happened. So I told the professor, I'm interested in thermofluids, but I don't know really particular thing that I want to research. So he gave me the 3 things. I went around 2 weeks.
Do you remember the other 2?
I remember it's in my email. I can read baadaye, but I know the 2. There were 3. The third one I didn't like, so even I don't remember what it was. But the 2 were, like I mentioned, my background is in mechanical engineering, and the 2 were heat transfer. It's called heat transfer problem. Like I've told you, this thing is very hot. How can you transfer heat from this thing? Remember, there are so many we call it boundary conditions in engineering. You cannot carry liquid in the air. because ndege iko hewani, you want to reduce the weight. So there are so many restrictions. So how can you remove heat from this thing without using liquid, without whatever, and all those things? This thing is at this altitude. There are some things you cannot do and all that. So that was one. Number two was the same problem, but for Formula 1 cars. Me, I didn't really like the automotive side. Nikasema, let me do the one for the aircraft engine. Yeah, so that is how I settled on that project. So the next thing was, you wanted to know now, what do you want to know? Because Jagero, this is 4 years.
I want to know basically about your research, what you found out and the things that were difficult, where you went researching, what were you doing? Basically for 4 years. A lot of 4 years for just looking at something rotating.
Yes, a small thing. Yeah. So the problem was, like I've mentioned, this thing gets hot when the aircraft is moving. How can we reduce the temperature? Like, how can we remove heat? It's called heat transfer. How can we remove heat from this thing? And then the first question as a PhD student is, what is the state? What is the current state of things? What are people using as we speak? What is Rolls-Royce using right now to remove heat? And so you make notes. And then you ask questions. Either they don't have time to be interviewed, and so you just go and look at what they've written. You go and read the work they've written. They've said this thing is very hard to remove heat because of ABCD. Last year, we tried ABCD. It didn't work. We think A might work if someone else can try doing this. And so now you start getting like hints on what you can start doing. You don't want to repeat what they did last year. You will fail your defense. Because during your defense, watakwambia, but Gladys, this thing you are proposing, it was done 5 years ago. Angalia, huyu mtu alijaribu, na exactly you are just repeating, go back. So you don't want to replicate. So number one thing is, the first thing as a PhD student is to do what we call literature review, which can take even 1 year sometimes. Just trying to understand what are people currently doing with this thing, and what is the problem? Like why isn't there a solution? Your professor should be able to fast track that literature review because they know a lot. My professor, I think, started researching that thing when? 80s. And he's been researching that thing since then. So that you just tell him this idea.
The
blade and other things. He's a professor of turbo machinery. So he has a lot of like rotate turbo machinery. So you're laughing, but I'm bringing in a lot of terms here. Yeah. But he's a professor of that area. Yeah. So when you tell him, hey, prof, this is what I'm thinking of doing, atakwambia that will not work because go back to 1998. Jagero did this thing in 1998. He knows because he's been there. And every year he writes papers about the state of art and what is missing in the area. So he knows. So that the work of a professor is to kind of guide you so that you are not in the forest. So you go figure out, you come and say, me, I've now done this research review. Me, I'm starting to feel like we should be inching this way. Akwambia, unless there is something new, in 1990s, they inched this way, they didn't get anything. So the work of a professor is to guide you now. Your supervisor is to kind of guide you so that you are heading the right direction. Hata ya ajui answer, he doesn't know the answer, but like guiding you. So that was the problem, like I've mentioned. And so we started coming up with solutions. So now I don't want to go into the deep engineering thing, but the solution was, we got like solution number one. Solution number one, it had been done, but not on the turbine blade. It had been done on something else. And then the challenge was now transferring that technology to turbine blade, considering what we call in engineering boundary condition. Always remembering that this thing, whatever you propose, bora you can manufacture the turbine blade. So we proposed a new way of making turbine blade, so that the basic idea is that the basic idea is this thing we call increasing the surface area. So unaona kama ile the example I gave earlier, if you pass hot water through series of things going like this, yeah, if you want to get more outcome on the other side, if you want to get a lot of heat, what you want to do, one of the things you want to do is to increase the hizo nini strip. So you can think moja inaenda hivi tatu, then you can double or triple so that you have so many of them, so that the water is slowed down, inaenda pole when you increase it. So solutions kama hizo. So now I kind of proposed a solution, but then that solution was very difficult to incorporate in a turbine blade because number one, turbine blade iko curved. So it's not flat, it's curved. So you have to think of how do we handle the curvature, and then how do we handle the rotations? Like I mentioned, it's rotating crazy number of times per second. So now my PhD, that was like the big part of my PhD, almost like 3 years of it. Just trying to figure out now, how can we navigate the curvature, the rotation? How do we then manufacture a turbine blade yenye kuna this new technology that I'm proposing? And at the end of 4 years, the solutions that I proposed were really nice. And ilikuwa imefika mahali sasa another student can take over after me, continue like refining, and maybe down the line, once imefika a certain level, it can now go into Rolls-Royce maybe, and they now hire like a seasoned research engineer to like continue fine-tuning before they actually even start testing it.
But now we have a turbine blade that's working.
Yes. Right now we have a turbine blade that is working with the cooling technology as is, but there is always room. Like most engineering technologies, there is always room for improvement. And so the research now is just like improving kidogo kidogo. Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Are you satisfied,
yes,
Professor?
I am satisfied.
Can I pass the PhD now?
Yes. You've got first class honors.
Thank you.
You said there are no first class honors on the
Thank you, Prof.
in PhD. Tell me about your GN and Inspire as we come to a close.
Okay. So GN Inspire. G for Gladys, N for Ngetich. So it's initials of my name.
Okay.
Because I wanted to share personal stories like the one I've shared here, and stories of other people. I'm not the my story is just not it's not unique. Like there are other people like with interesting stories, like you do here, like bringing someone to share stories. So we are focusing mostly on like educational related content, educational career related content. So it will be suitable for guys in uni, recent graduates, maybe young professionals. And the whole idea is to just share how, like, for instance, like I've told you, how I went through my academic ladder, how I got to know about opportunities. We share a lot links for scholarships, for students seeking scholarships. If you go to every video of mine, below on the description box, you will get like so many links there. So when I have someone on the show, I ask them, how did you know about the Rhodes Scholarship? Where is the link for the scholarship you got? How did you know about Commonwealth Scholarship? How did you apply? Give us some tips and tricks on how to stand out. And then, that is basically the whole essence. So you can request your audience to go check it out.
Yes.
And if they like, they can subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just go check out GN Expire and subscribe. The other thing that I wanted you to touch on very lightly is your new baby that you're doing here in Kenya. You're in mobility business.
It is in mobility business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the name of your mobility startup?
It's called SQDGO.
Yeah.
SQD. We removed the vowels in SQD because someone else had trademarked.
The squad.
Yeah. So we removed the vowels. So it's a lot of consonants.
It's actually just like they removed the vowels in swivel.
Oh, it's actually, I don't know why they removed their vowels.
Why?
But at least ours we removed because someone else had trademarked the one with vowels. Yeah. I think it's a tour company or whatever. So we removed the vowels. So it's a lot of consonants now. It's like SQD for squad and then GO for go. And the whole essence, it's one word. It's 5-letter, one word. SQDGO. If you go to Play Store, you should be able to see it. The whole essence.
But the website is squad.
Yes, SQDGO.com. Yeah, if you want to read more about it. So the whole idea is we are creating a platform where people can share rides as they go to work. We were chatting with you the other day, and I was giving you a scenario where, assuming me and you, we work for company A in town. Na tunaishi Riruta. So in the evening before ulale, around 9, so we've created a platform where you Jagero, you can come on the platform around 9 p.m. and just check, like weka tu Riruta to CBD or Riruta to Westlands, and you can check the drivers there who are heading your direction tomorrow asubuhi. You can chat with them, you can call them, uambie, you know what, I like. So the drivers will put their routes there. And then so you, as a commuter, you come and check the driver that fits your standards based on the cost, on the car they are driving. You would be driving a Mercedes and you are charging 200 or like 1,000 per seat. And I'm driving an Axio and I'm charging maybe 300 per seat. So anyway, it's just like a marketplace. So you come in there and you choose the ride you want based on where you are going. You can chat with the driver before you book. So we have 3 components. So that we are currently trying to do. It's still it's in the piloting stage. So we do the commuter, like I've explained. Number 2, we're also trying to work with schools. So you can imagine like students, say in Strathmore, who stay far away. But then there is one person who drives in. The other students, because you know it's a lot of work going to say, Jagero, can I get a Rini ride in your car? It's just like a lot of hassle. So, but then when if they want to carry you, they can list their car there, and then you can carpool together to school. Another, the third component we are also trying now is we call intercity, where if you have your Mercedes and you're driving to Kisumu, say this coming Friday, you can put your car on the platform so that anyone who wants to take a ride in your car, then they can book you in advance, and then they'll come to where you are picking. So where we come at Jagero, you'll say, I'm picking from point A, and then I'll drop you at point B. So anyone comfortable with that route will book you. So that is what we are trying to do.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Doing great things. I wish you well.
Thank you.
In the startup. I wish you well with your YouTube channel.
And my turbines.
Yeah, your turbines. I think the startup is not as difficult as the turbines, right?
Jagero, I thought so. I'm actually realizing
this one is what did you say the word is called when it's rotating? You used another word.
What did I say? Revolutions.
Yes.
Revolutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times is this is your startup revolution?
Jesus, it's maybe 1,000. Do you know dealing with human beings? The marketing? God. You know, I used to feel like, actually, if you ask me, the engineering, I think, is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we made the app and we're like, Bass, this thing is the best. Let's go launch it.
I'll help you with the marketing.
We launch, we are like, where is the driver? Where is the passenger? So now, like, trying to, like this soft side of things, I don't know if it's called soft side, but like just trying to understand what the customer wants and satisfying the customer, retaining the customer, and all these other mini connecting things. Anyway, just to say, it's not easy. Like running a startup or trying to start a new idea, because it's a newish idea. It's been challenging. But what I'm learning about myself is that I think I love solving problems. And maybe no wonder I loved maths. They said 2x plus 1 equal to 5. Find the value of x.
Me, I don't know maths, man.
Sasa, mimi nilikuwa napenda sasa like find I was like,
Thanks
find the
to
value.
ChatGPT.
They can solve your maths.
Yes.
But anyway, I was saying, like with the reason why I'm enjoying the startup, it's difficult, I will not lie, but also the whole journey of solving a problem, like where can we find a customer, blah blah blah. It's exciting, yeah. But that is the whole essence. But and we will try and see how we can work.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for the books, The Bold Dream, Transcending the Impossible, The PhD Journey. Where do we buy them?
So we are working on getting the Bold Dream on Nuria, but the PhD Journey is on Nuria already. So Nuria. Kenyans can go to Nuria physically or buy online from Nuria bookstore.
They would love it.
Or the people abroad, they can buy from Amazon. You just go to Amazon, look for the PhD Journey by Gladys. You should be able to purchase it there.
All right, great. Thank you very much, people of the internet. That was Gladys Ngetich. The other name was what? Chepkirui. I hope you are inspired by this story. Please leave a comment, subscribe, and hit on that notification bell so that when we have another Gladys, you can easily be notified. Please check out GN Inspire on YouTube. Subscribe, watch the videos, leave a comment, and let's grow together. Thank you very much. And until another episode, bye for now.